Hospice and Palliative Care of Iredell County is a community-based program. We're nonprofit, and we're here to serve everyone in our community who is faced with a life-limiting illness, regardless of their ability to pay.
Hospice offers a more human and more dignified option to end of life. In the hospital, patients tend to be violated somewhat. They have their vital signs taken, they get IVs, they get stuck with needles, and when they're in hospice, they don't have that. They are able to rest when they want to rest. When I take care of patients who need hospice, first of all, I have to find out if they are ready for hospice, meaning they're ready to stop aggressive care and give more comfort and compassion and pain control. Then I will call Hospice of Iredell. They review the patient's chart and spend an enormous amount of time with the family and the patient to understand what they're going through.
Mom had open heart surgery and renal failure. Her care became a puzzlement to me. I didn't know how to handle it or when we should call the doctor, or it was becoming overwhelming. Hospice came in. When they actually spoke to her, I stepped out of the room. I knew what was coming. I knew the decision that she was going to make before she made it. She knew she could make her end-of-life decisions, and she decided to stop dialysis. My mother had been in agony for quite some time, very uncomfortable. She was ready to stop her treatment and ready to be at home and be comfortable, and for 2 weeks she was.
Hospice is a philosophy of care. That care can be provided wherever the patient is. Most people want to remain home in a familiar setting. That may be in a skilled nursing facility, assisted living facility, hospital, or the Gordon Hospice House. The Gordon Hospice House is the only inpatient setting for hospice in Iredell County. It's a state-of-the-art, home-like environment for our patients when it is no longer feasible for them to receive the care that they need at end of life. It's nestled in a beautiful setting with living areas where the families can convene, they can meet other families, kitchen areas. We have a meditation area for the families.
I've had both of my parents in the care of hospice. My father's passing was one where we were able to maintain his comfort in our home. A few years later, my mother, her illness was one that had symptoms that were very difficult for my family to manage. We decided that the Gordon Hospice House would be the appropriate place to provide my mom the care that she needed. What we found immediately was a group of very qualified caregivers, very experienced in providing that type of care to patients whose symptoms are needing to be continually managed. In addition, we found open arms from that staff at the Gordon Hospice House who provided the family members just wonderful and compassionate and understanding care. At the time of my mom's passing, she was surrounded by her family. The chaplain was present, and we held hands and we prayed. And my older brother looked to the sky after we prayed and asked the Lord to take my mother. She took one final breath and she passed. It was the single most powerful thing that's ever occurred in my life.
Right near the end of my stepfather's life, hospice called, said they wanted to do some snapshots for a brochure. Right before the Gordon Hospice House was opened, got a phone call wanting me to come and see something. And that plaque is my mom's hands, my stepdad's hands, and my little great-nephew's hands. I know as people go in and out of this wonderful facility that they'll look at those hands and see the comfort and the love that this place offers.
My role as a chaplain is to provide spiritual care to our patients and their families. And we respect all the different faiths because we know that people come from all different walks of life. And so we're very diverse, and we try to be respectful of where each person is. As a chaplain and on the Rainbow Kids, one of the things that we do is we reach out to children who may have chronic illnesses and visit with the children and their families.
Hospice cares not only for the patient, but for their family. When the patient has passed away, the family is there with grief, and that can be such an intense emotion. We're also there to support that family, whether it's one-on-one support or grief counseling in a group setting. We're also there to support our community for those unanticipated events through churches, through businesses and workplaces, as well as through our school system.
We go into the schools to lead these good grief groups. They're open to any student in the school who has experienced a loss. It doesn't have to be something that happened within the year. It could have been 6 years ago. If they're having a hard time coping with this death, then they are eligible to come and participate.
One of the common misconceptions about hospice and hospice care, it's not about giving up hope. It's reframing hope. And when medical science can no longer offer a cure, you refocus. You're there to support that patient and family in finding the true meaning of what life is about and providing peace and comfort for the time that they have left.
When my grandfather got to the point where we knew he wasn't going to be far from passing, hospice came in and they sat with us and they told us what to expect and how the whole process kind of worked. They become part of your family. When my grandfather passed, you know, that's what we did in lieu of flowers. We donated back to hospice because of the care they gave our family, not just my grandfather who was sick, but our entire family that was there.
If you're going to not consider hospice care, you should think about what the words mean, because you obviously want somebody to take care of your family, especially in a situation where you're struggling to do it yourself. So to have the hospital part of the hospice people be there to help you in your own home, to give you that care, you're crazy not to, consider hospice.
A key part of the hospice and palliative care team are volunteers. They provide compassionate companionship to the patients and families when they need it the most. And many of our volunteers are family members from patients that we have cared for over the years. We could not provide the care and services that we do without our volunteers.
The services and the quality of care extends well beyond that provided the patient. The families, the friends, and others who are close to the loved one that is passing are equally cared for. Their thoughts, their concerns, their emotions are all addressed by the very compassionate staff at Hospice and Palliative Care of Iredell County.
To hold the hand of the person that you love so much and watch them gently slip into the next world is a beautiful, beautiful experience. Embrace it, love it, remember it.